I am so excited to paint with you today. I could not sleep last night. I was like so ready to get into this word of the year, symbol of the year energy that I couldn't even sleep. I know I always enjoy giving myself some time and space to just dream a little, and just feels really good in my body to be hopeful and dream and think about how I want to feel and what kind of energy I want to bring in. So welcome to the word and symbol of the year painting workshop, Paint Along with me, Kristen Fagan, here at Discover Your Creative Magic. I have been choosing a word of the year since I think like 2012 or 2013. And the last few years I've added a symbol along with that word, which really feels good for me personally. I'm a visual person. I work in a lot of different symbols, and I like to have visual representations around me. So adding the symbol to my word has just made it that much more like poignant, you know? And plus it's just fun to be able to paint symbolism into your painting along with the words and the energy that you want to feel. So welcome. This is an intentional soul painting paint along, and I'm going to share with you my process of choosing a word, which we talked a little bit about in our previous video together. I have a worksheet here in the group, and it's called Word of the Year Workshop.pdf. You can go to the files section, download it and print it, or you can just look at it and work from it on your notebook if you feel like you want to dive a little deeper into finding your word. I just totally dig this process. I write down a ton of words, I look up the definitions, I see what kind of symbols show up to me, and I make note of that throughout the weeks leading up to this. And then I look for where there's some cross sections where things are showing up in the symbol and in the word, and they're making sense together. And that helps me really hone in on what my soul is wanting, what my soul is needing, and what needs to be called forth in this coming year. And I use that worksheet to help me process all of those things. So you're welcome to download that and print it. Going into this, which happens to me almost every year, I have a word in mind that I was like, yeah, that's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. And then once I go through and I do all my journaling, it's like something else always jumps up. And that happened this time too. So I just find this process to be a lot of fun and a lot of soul digging and self-discovery. And the worksheet is there to help you if you want to dive in a little bit more deeply like that. So why do I do this? You know, I just, instead of doing a resolution or just specific goals, this is really painting into being a feeling and an energy that I want to carry me through the next 12 months. I do it because I like to have something that's a visual reminder and a touchstone of the things that I want and desire and how I want to feel. And I find that having something like a piece of art really embody the journey, but then I can hang it up in my space. I usually put it somewhere I see it regularly, and it could remind me throughout the year what I want to feel, and remind me when oh yeah, I'm on that path. This is awesome. This is exactly how I want to feel this year. Or, I did want to feel that, and I don't feel that right now. And what can I do? What little things can I tweak to bring that feeling into my day, into my week, into my month? And It always ebbs and flows, and it always shows up in ways I didn't expect it to. And I just find that to be really a lot of fun and part of the journey. So I hope you enjoy doing this process with me as well. I believe that when you have that energy out there, you take it out of your head and out of, just swirling around, and you put it out there, it just makes it that much more powerful. And why do I choose one word? One word, it sums up when you want to create, how you want to feel in your body and in your heart. One word deepens your change. You don't have to remember a whole bunch of different things and goals. That can be something totally different that you work on. But this one word is simple, it's easy to remember. It is not something you can break. Like you can break a goal, you can break a resolution, you can break promises. You can't break a word. A word bends, it's fluid, it moves with you, it changes, but you can't really break it. And I think that is pretty awesome. So that's why I really enjoy this process. Before we get started painting, I always like to bring ourselves present and center. So I'm just going to invite you to leave your eyes closed and just take some deep breaths. We're going to do 3 deep breaths together. Breathe in, breathe out. Let go of everything that came before this present moment. Breathe in again. When you breathe out, just come here, come right now into this space. And on your 3rd breath, breathe in, breathe out any preconceived notions, any judgments, any ideas of where you might go. Hang on to them loosely. You can have a loose idea, but hang on to it loosely. Let it be available to move and change depending on what comes forth in your canvas. I have a Tree of Life blessing that I love. It's by artist and poet Shiloh Sophia. And if you'll allow me, I'm just going to read that to you today before we start. And hopefully that feels really good. You can keep your eyes closed if you want to, or you can open your eyes. It's up to you. It is called Tree of Life Blessing. And it's by artist and poet Shiloh Sophia. May you choose outrageous actions that challenge who you are and encourage who you are becoming. May you take one step, however small, toward that which you have always longed for. Now is the right time. May you recognize the unique and powerful contribution that you bring to the people whose lives you touch. May you be as wonderful as you really are, and do things because you want to, not because you should. May you celebrate your creativity and believe that you are an artist with a unique vision that no one else has. May you find peace and purpose and possibility amidst the chaos while remaining aware of the unrest in the world. May you reach towards spirit with a longing that keeps you awake to the miracles available all around you. May your faith move any mountains that stand in your way and bring you great teachers to awaken your understanding. May you give up shame, guilt, and self-neglect and replace them with qualities like freedom, integrity, and self-nurturing. May you give up shame, guilt, and self-neglect, and replace them with qualities like freedom, integrity, and self-nurturing. I did not mean to repeat that line, but maybe we needed to hear it again. Maybe you offer the gifts and blessings of your soul to beings of the world when the time is ripe for you to release them. May you passionately and deeply love and be loved by someone who can see who you really are. May your body speak to you and teach you how to care for the temple that houses your bright spirit. May you walk gently on the earth and honor your hearth and family with your action and your rest. May you find and enjoy the fruit of abundance so that your life path can be fortified and further. May you embrace the tree of life and be informed by the wisdom that she brings to those on her path. May love be at the center of all your choices, and may you, with me, send this blessing to all beings. So that's the Tree of Life Blessing by Shiloh Sophia, and I always like to incorporate that in my Word of the Year workshop because it's just so poignant for this time, at any time really. Drinking some tea, I've got some black tea here. Get me going since I was like a little kid last night and couldn't fall asleep. This one was the year before, and this is 12 by 16 is this size here. So I'm going a little bit larger this year. In both cases, these are my symbols. This was my symbol, the dragonfly, and then I cut out the words and I glued them on after. You can see that. And on this one, I had used a stencil and I stenciled the words on there. So you can get your words on there however you want. You could do it right with your paintbrush. You can have it sort of peeking in and out. You can do magazine cut and paste like the transform. You could do stencils, lots of different ways to add your word. And I want you guys to do what feels good for you. So like most of my soul painting classes, I will show you my process. I want you to dive into the process with me, but you are going to be on your own journey, on your own path. You'll have different colors, different symbols, different words that show up for you. There's no wrong way to do this. It's painting for self-discovery, painting for fun, and you don't have to follow along step by step. You can take your own path and trust that it's the right one for you. Your word, your symbol, and we can get going. And I'm just going to grab the first color I picked up. This process is multi-layered, so your colors will change and grow as you work on your painting. And I tend to just grab what's calling me in that moment. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at some of the words on my sheet. You may have honed in on one word, but you may have had multiple words that were spiraling around and that you want to give some energy to. So I'm going to go through some of my words and I'm just going to write on the canvas, I am, and then I'm going to write that word, or you can just write your word multiple times over and over again, or you can just write down the different words that you had that were important to you. However you want to infuse this canvas with some of that energy. So some of my words were flourish, so I'm going to say, I am flourishing. And I don't have any water on my brush at this point. Some of my other words were lush and wild. I also had goddess, vibrant, it's okay if it doesn't stay like in a sentence form. That doesn't really matter here. So I am a vibrant goddess, and I have my S kind of came over here. And then this is my word, creatrix. I am a creatrix. So you might want to be saying, I am calm, I am patient, I am kind, I am open, I am flowing. Maybe you just want to say the same thing over again. I am calm, I am calm, I am calm, I am mindful, I am breathing, I am healthy, whatever you want to put in here. It's all about you. And then since I have a little bit of paint left, I'm just going to play with adding and filling in some of these white spaces. You can say these in your mind while you're painting. I am flourishing, I am wild, I am lush. I am a vibrant goddess. I am a creatrix. See how that feels in your body. I know I just feel like I get a little burst of energy, a little jolt by repeating that and telling myself, I am these things. And maybe this is pretty new for you, so you don't quite believe it. You don't quite totally get it or feel like it embodies you at this moment. That's okay. You can keep just saying it. Let it flow in. Let it be. Let it become your truth by saying it over and over again. these are feelings we want to bring in, and there's a reason for that because we're not feeling them right now. So, so it makes sense that maybe you're not feeling it, but we're trying to call it forth. We're trying to bring it in. So now I'm just going to grab another color and start to weave in and out on top of my words. So this one is still in the teal, but it's a little more opaque. So whereas this one was very transparent, you can see the words coming through the background. This one is more opaque, so it's actually going to cover up some of my words. So now I'm going to come back with a dark blue, and I'm kind of staying in a very similar color family at the moment. From blues to greens, they're all kind of next to each other on a color wheel. So it creates a very harmonious colors together. How is everybody feeling at this point? You're getting comfortable, getting that energy going, starting to kind of feel into your canvas and your new art piece. So while I let this dry, I'm going to talk a little bit about some other ways you can kind of set up your space. I just jumped into it. I was so excited today. But a few things I've done is I kind of cleaned my space, cleaned the air, and got myself prepared and set up before I started painting. I put on some essential oils that I like to make that scent part of the process. Have some music on that help me create my energy. These are all little art rituals that you can do when you're getting yourself ready to create, sort of opening up to the magic of creativity by setting the stage. You can have a candle burning. I'm wearing a snake necklace. The snake has come up as part of my symbol for this year, and so I went through some of my jewelry and had this snake necklace, so I put that on. You can also look at what kind of gemstones or rocks bring in that energy that you're looking for, and if you have them, bring them into your space when you're here getting ready to create. You wear them or put a rock or something near you. And if you don't have them, maybe that's something to just sort of hold in the back of your mind when you're thinking about a new piece of jewelry or picking up a gemstone, that is one you want to bring in to your space this year. So some symbols. Let's talk about symbols. There's animal symbols, there's ancient symbols, there's things that just sort of come across your path that can be a personal symbol for you. Such as, you know, maybe you're seeing a certain type of bird in your yard all of a sudden, or maybe you're coming across the same type of symbol over and over again. Maybe the moon has been something that's really piqued your interest recently. Those are all great symbols that can help you through your year, in addition to your word. So I have a spot on the new worksheet that I loaded last night where you can put any symbols that are coming up for you. So a couple of symbols that I have here, I'm going to see if I can hold them up a little bit, are the spiral, the goddess, the snake, snake plant, goddess again, the triple goddess moon symbol, triangle, which also signifies goddess. All of these were coming to me. I just kept feeling that energy, and I said, oh my gosh, they're all goddess related. Even the snake that was showing up for me, it showed up in my dream, and it showed up when I went for a walk. I didn't see a snake, but I saw you know, all of the tree branches were all very snake-like in their energy. That is even a symbol for goddess and enlightenment. So I'm really looking to pull in my feminine power, my creative energy this year, and that helped me lead to my word, because I kept, even though I thought my word was flourish, I kept seeing and feeling into all of these symbols that came back to relate to goddess. And the word creatrix was kind of exciting and something that was in my sphere of thinking about. And once I noticed all of these symbols that relate back to the goddess were coming back, creatrix was what it is, because creatrix just means female creator, bringing something forth. And in the basic tone, it's been around since the 1600s, and it's really not a word I'm not aware of. It's a woman connected to her creative power and manifesting that power. And so once all these symbols started showing up, it's like, that's That's my word. So for my next layer, I'm gonna paint some of these ancient symbols that relate to my word. And I invite you to think of some things that might relate to yours. If it is calm, for example, maybe you want to paint some waves, something like that. If it's, I know someone was saying like new day. So if it's a new day, maybe you want to create sort of a sunburst or like the sun rising up, you know, and have those kind of lines coming out. Yeah, so think about what kind of symbols you want to create. It can even be circles. Maybe circles are something that you really enjoy. It feels good to make, and you just want to make circles all over your canvas. Or you want to make triangles or diamond shapes or anything like that. Fran says, lighthouses showed up for my word calm. Ooh, lighthouses is a good one. And I didn't know turtles. I'm learning so much doing this practice. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. I just find this stuff so much fun, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it too. It's a neat way of bringing a little magic into our everyday lives, right? Learning kind of some deeper meanings about these types of things. So the next symbol I'm going to do is I'm going to move to do some triangles. other main words was flourish. I'm going to kind of bring in that little bit of flower energy, some vines maybe and leaves, things like that feel like they would be growing wild. Now it's starting to get kind of at that weird middle phase, you know, where there's a lot going on, there's a lot competing, and that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it just yet. I'm just going to keep going and add some more flowers and things in the foreground, and just trust that the middle mucky area has to happen. It's just part of the process, and we will move through it. All right, so my main symbol is the snake. So now I gotta bring in some of that snake energy in here. There's a lot happening, but I'm gonna let this triangle, this yoni shape still be there, and I'm gonna bring in my snake kind of slithering in and out on top. We'll see what happens. And before I do that, I'm just gonna let this sit for a few minutes because acrylic dries really quickly, which is why I love to work with it. But you do wanna give your layers a chance to breathe and a chance to dry a little bit so that when you come back to put something else on top, you're not messing around with wet paint and it's getting muddy below. Just letting it dry for a few moments will mean that I can come back and draw a snake on top of here without it getting too messy with what's going on already in the background. So one of my painting mentors, Whitney Freya, she is my mentor, my guide. She's who I studied under for my Creatively Fit coaching program. She's written a fabulous book called Rise Above. And in it, she has some snake medicine in here. And so I'm just going to share that with you while I let this layer dry. There it is. Here's her painting. I absolutely love this painting. And this is sort of what I envision, not quite probably as large as this, going on top of my background. Snake. When I created the red snake painting, you see in this chapter, I was given so much insight into how our own spiritual journey mirrors that of a snake. For many, snakes are still viewed as vile, evil, repulsive, gross, scary, deadly creatures. And we've been largely programmed to look at them this way, from this lens. As you expand the circle of your spiritual journey, you inevitably come across the snake as a symbol of spiritual awakening. From this perspective, snake medicine is amongst the most powerful and the most desired energies. Kundalini is seen as the spiritual life force that lies coiled at your spine. And when you have a Kundalini awakening, the spiritual life force energy zings up your spine, the snake uncoils and shoots upward. And I'll say that I did paint a snake when I was doing the Creatively Fit coaching program, and kind of that was one of my last paintings. I still have it hanging up here as sort of a symbol of the journey. And snakes have a lot of transformation, they shed, they have a lot of creative life force, feminine energy in them. And I took a Kundalini class last, maybe 2 summers ago, I think 2019. And again, the snake really kind of came to me in that process. And I remember dreaming about it, and it showed up again in my dreams in December, which is why I knew, okay, there's something to this symbol and I have to kind of bring it in this year. Snakes have really pretty cool energy. So your relationship with a snake, I would like to suggest, is a reflective to where you are in your own spiritual awakening. There is no right or wrong here, just an is. As a global consciousness, when we shift from perceiving the snake as villainous to the snake as divine life force energy, we also shift from a world based in fear to one based in love. Bring on the snake medicine. And then she goes on to write a little, kind of like a little poem. You volunteered to play this role, didn't you? You agreed to humble yourself and slither on your belly, no legs, no wings. You allowed us to villainize you and reject you. You understood the meandering journey of spirit. You are not fear, you are love. You are not the enemy, you are our guide. You promise that as we choose to look at our own shadow, we will also be given illumination. You protect us as we risk the shift from judgment to acceptance, from rejection to embrace. And once we learn to love the scariest, slithering, vile, monstrous side of ourselves, we can prepare for the awakening of our truth. Ooh, so maybe the snake is really kind of inviting me to take a look at my shadow aspects and my shadow sides this year, paying attention to not just the lights, but also the darks and the things that maybe I don't want to focus on as much at times. I'll have to remember that when I look at my snake. Everything exists under the law of love. Nothing exists outside of the boundaries of love. Love your enemy. They are love in disguise. Embrace your snake, for it is the portal into your next level of personal freedom. So by loving all of yourself, your shadow side as well as your light side, the snake will help bring this portal of personal freedom and, acceptance. I like that. So I should be ready now to paint my snake. I'm gonna bring back that dark blue, I think, and use that to create my outline. And you don't have to do your symbol freehand. It is okay to have some sketches you've made or look up your symbol and use that as your guide for drawing. One thing I've noticed other artists do, which I thought was pretty neat, I've done it in my art journal. I think I've shared it with you guys when we did the color art journals, is you can cut out a picture of your symbol and glue it onto your painting, onto your canvas, and then paint on top of it, using it as a base. So if you're really struggling with the idea of having to freehand draw something, that could be a nice way of getting the picture on your canvas. You can use like a white glue, a Mod Podge, a gesso, anything like that to glue it onto your canvas and then paint on top of it so that you are creating your own image. You're just using that as a guideline below. think I'm gonna write my word inside my symbol. So my snake is pretty wet since I wet it with the spray bottle and I came back with more paint. It's pretty easy to etch into. So I'm using the back of my paintbrush. You can use any back of your paintbrush to etch into my snake a little bit and figure out where I want to put my word. I know I wanted to put the triple goddess symbol right on the head here. So I just sort of etched the location for that. And now I gotta figure out where. I think it should go right in this little area here. How many letters is it? 1, 2. It's 8 letters. When I am doing words on something, I like to work from the center of the word out. I mean, unless I was gonna just kind of put it here, if I'm trying to center it in something, I'm gonna start in the center of my word and then work my way to the front and the back. So between A and T is going to be my center. Finesse that a little bit more as after this dries, kind of come back in here and play with some of those symbols I had early on and work on my letters a little bit more. I'm going to make them a little bit more easy to read. But there we have it, word and symbol of the year. thank you guys for joining me, but I'm gonna let this sit for a bit and dry, and then I'll come back to see where I want to add some more detail. And it's always good to kind of give it a chance to rest and step away, and then come back and do any finishing touches that you might want to do. So I hope you guys really enjoyed spending time with me today. I know I absolutely adored it, and I just wish you a fantastic year ahead, filled with the energy that you so desire. Until next time, lots of love to you. Bye.